Your city, your news. From the campus of the University of Nebraska at Omaha, this is the Omaha News.
Good afternoon, I'm Laura Wobblehorst.
And I'm Heidi Sampier. We have breaking news from Westroads Mall. A shooting happened earlier this afternoon. We go to Eric Iverson in a live phone report at the mall.
Thank you, Heidi. I'm here right outside JCPenney, where they're now letting the people out of the mall. They're reuniting with their family members right now. So if any family members are looking for people that were left in the mall, they should go outside JCPenney. I have reports that there were two men. They were in camo gear. They had two backpacks on their back, firearms. I do not know what they were. The mall has been since reopened, but it's been shut down for quite some time. A great big police presence here. There are a couple people brought out with injuries, taken to the hospital. Helicopters are flying around. I interviewed one of the staff at Bon Mar. She was in the back room steering an outfit, and she heard gunshots. Customers rushed in to the back room, and they blockaded the door, put some tables up against it, called 911, and waited approximately 30 minutes for a response. Panic ensued. There was a lot of prayer, a lot of crying outside, waiting for family members. We believe that the people are in their late 30s to mid-40s. Other info will be released later on. But like I said, right now, people are being released to their family members outside JCPenney, and I will hopefully everything will turn out fine, and the people in the hospital will recover and make a full recovery. Back to you, Heidi and Laura from Westroads Mall. Live from Westroads Mall, this is Derek Iverson for the Mall News.
Thank you, Eric.
President Bush visited Omaha today and talked about a number of issues facing the country. It's the president's 9th visit to the Cornhusker State.
Bush arrived just before 9 this morning and had a busy schedule today.
Just after Air Force One landed, the president stepped out and addressed the crowd.
He had a number of things to say, including nuclear issues concerning the country of Iran.
That the Iranian government has more to explain about its nuclear intentions and past actions, especially the covert nuclear weapons program pursued until the fall of 2003, which the Iranian regime has yet to acknowledge. The Iranians have a strategic choice to make. They can come clean with the international community about the scope of their nuclear activities and fully accept the long-standing offer to suspend their enrichment program and come to the table and negotiate, or they can continue on a path of isolation that is not in the best interest of the Iranian people.
Bush braved the elements and spoke for about 10 minutes. But the real reason the president was in town, Nebraska Senate candidate Mike Johans. Bush was here to lend support to his former employee.
I'm here also to talk about my friend Mike Johans. I have gotten to know him well, and there's no doubt in my mind he'll make a great United States Senator from the state of Nebraska.
After arriving just before 9, the president went to One World Health Center, which is a health center for low-income families. He was expected to speak about health care. Afterwards, the president headed to Mike Johans' $1,000 ticket fundraiser. The president then headed back to Air Force One and flew out.
The University of Nebraska Omaha is constantly changing. Joe Doyle reports on 2 facilities undergoing a change.
2 of the University of Nebraska Omaha's facilities will undergo a facelift. The Dr. C.C. and Mabel Chris Library is currently undergoing renovation. Renovation of the library, which began during the summer, is the first of 3 phases of construction. The first phase of construction has closed down nearly the entire first floor, excluding the new Dr. Kahn addition, which opened in 2006. The library is having high-density compact bookshelves installed on an electronic rail system. This will allow for over 250,000 volumes to be stored. The second and third phases will bring renovation to both the second and third floor. The renovation of the library is expected to be completed by summer of next year. The Health, Physical Education, and Recreation Building, also known as Hyper, is also set to undergo renovation. One of the major improvements to the Hyper building will include more fitness space.
Just from walking through the facility, you can see people waiting in line to get on the elliptical trainers and bicycles and treadmills, and we just don't have enough space.
Other changes to the Hyper include additional multi-purpose rooms, a juice bar, a hot tub, and 110 additional parking spaces.
Hopefully a final completion date around fall 2010.
Renovation to the Hyper is set to begin July 2008. For the Omaha News, I'm Joe Doyle.
The Hyper and Library join the College of Public Affairs and Community Service building under renovation.
Your pocketbook has been taking a hit lately, and it's not because you're losing money. It's because your money is worth less. Ryan Kronschnabel examines the decline of the U.S. dollar.
The value of your dollar has dramatically decreased in recent years, and this has vastly harmed the spending power of the American people. Remember when gas used to be less than $1? It's been less than 10 years, and now we have gas over $3.
I have this small Honda that I used to pay $12 to fill the tank like about 4 years ago. Now it cost me $40. So really, I mean, it's really diminishing my resources. And my salary hasn't gone up by much. So
Gas isn't the only thing.
I work at a coffee shop and they've gone up 50 cents because, you know, traveling to bring goods and everything, and so everything's going up.
Most experts attribute the decline to increased competition with the euro. Since the introduction of the euro by the European Union, the US dollar has steadily lost value compared to all other major world currencies. Earlier this year, the Canadian dollar, for the first time in over 50 years, became more valuable than the US dollar. As a result, many Americans have had to cut back on their expenses.
I have my 4-cylinder, which I've had for years. This car is really small. And I use it a lot more than I use my SUV, which guzzles a lot of gas, so that's a major one.
As of right now, things do not look good for the dollar. Recently, China, which has nearly $1.5 trillion in reserves and owns most of our debt, plans on diversifying to other forms of currency. For the Omaha News, I'm Ryan Kronschnabel.
Although the dollar going down can have an effect on your pocketbook, for companies that export out of the country, it means a higher profit.
2 million and still growing. Birth rates aren't the only thing causing Nebraska's population to soar. With Nebraska's population growing at staggering rates, immigration reform has become a huge issue.
Immigrants account for 60% of the state's population growth in the last 5 years.
By the People, a program produced by Nebraska Public Television focusing on immigration issues, is airing right behind me in the Dodge Room on the campus of University of Nebraska at Omaha, where students and faculty were invited to watch the video and discuss how they felt about the immigration issues in Nebraska and in the United States.
Let's use it.
Danielle Sherman, a student who attended the session, thinks immigrants are a good way to bring culture to Nebraska, but feels they also need to bring a desire to learn the language.
And I do think it would be a good thing if immigrants were learning English. It's just like walking into a job. You can't get a job and say, I don't want to know the material. It's just not going to happen. Living in America, it's a privilege.
Whether you feel immigrants are a hindrance on society,
they're wrong, so they got to go back.
Or you're for immigration.
A lot of these families are really, really good people that only came here to save their families.
This hot topic will continue to cause controversy. Nebraska had an estimated 55,000 illegal aliens in 2005. Up next, Jason Hendricks will give you tips on winterizing your car.
And Justin Kilker gives us tips on how to prepare your pets for the icy months ahead. Stay tuned, you're watching the Omaha News.
UNO Television.
Students work with professionals who have all kinds of experience in the industry.
Lights, camera, action. Literally.
Get paid while you learn more about the TV business.
Work on all kinds of productions.
My friends who worked on TV crew last semester are now working part-time at local stations.
Working on TV crew is a great experience.
UNO Television. Student crew, professional staff, award-winning results.
what do you think arthritis looks like?
I've never felt like this. It's scary. Even carrying like a bundle of clothes down to the laundry room hurt. You know, there's a piece of me still that hopes that someday I'll wake up and they'll say, oh, we were wrong, you don't have this, it's something else. But the hardest thing for me is just asking for help when I need help.
These are the faces of arthritis. Learn more online or call the Arthritis Foundation Nebraska chapter at 330-6130. Arthritis, it's not what you think.
With winter months upon us in the Omaha area, it's time to get your vehicles ready for the cold and blistering months ahead. Jason Hendricks reports on what you can do to prepare.
Snow, ice, below freezing temperatures. These are all things that car owners need to worry about in the coming months. But what do you have to do to keep your car in shape?
One thing you're going to want to do is to first check your antifreeze, make sure it's at the correct level and at the correct readings. Another thing you need to probably make sure you do is check your battery, make sure it's got a good charge, make sure the charging system's working.
When the ice comes, you also need something to scrape it off the windows.
Make sure you've got a good ice scraper, maybe some lock de-icer. Don't keep it in the car, but keep it on your person in case you need it for the locks. Make sure you've got washer fluid and good wiper blades for the days that that it's slushy out.
But there are always problems people run into.
The biggest problem is preventative maintenance, which would be the batteries. Mainly the batteries. You go out, when it's below zero out there, you've got a battery that's 4 or 5 years old. It's had its toll, and it's not going to hold up.
The Omaha area has already seen its first snow of the season. As car owners, it's your responsibility to take care of your car to make sure it gets through the rest of the winter months. For the Omaha News, I'm Jason Hendricks.
Mechanics recommend regular vehicle maintenance for your vehicle to run in tip-top shape through the winter.
It's not just a myth anymore. The flu really does spread better in the cold. A study released by researchers in New York says the influenza virus spreads better in winter months because it can stay active longer in the cold, dry weather. In related research, scientists have validated an old home remedy. Honey, which has been long used to treat sore throats, has been shown to be more effective than the common cough medicine dextromethorphan.
The frigid winter season has begun, and pet owners need to start taking extra precautions to maintain the health of their pets. Justin Kilker has more.
As the seasons slowly begin to change, animals have to adjust to the different temperatures. However, with the snow and ice being a common occurrence during the winter, pet owners need to keep a close eye on their whereabouts of their pets when they are let outside.
Dogs, when they go out and it begins to snow, can lose their sense of smell in the snow. It distracts and they don't have quite the same scent. So they can get lost more easily in the wintertime than they can in the summer because they're not following the scent to come back home.
Cats, however, are more visual in their surroundings and pay close attention to objects around them. Snow causes a camouflage through their eyes and makes it harder for them to remember where they are. The Humane Society, located on 89th and Fort, is the top spot to take your pet if it's experiencing pain or discomfort. During wintertime, the most likely occurrence is frostbite.
And that's an issue that we see a lot of. We see a lot of cats that have been left out in the snow or have gotten out and haven't been able to find a place that's really, really warm. And they'll have frostbitten feet, the tips of their ears will be frozen.
Owners who like to keep their dogs active during the winter will likely continue walking their dog in the cold. Maintaining a comfortable and consistent pace is important to help to keep the dog from getting sick.
Most of the time, he just, if we leave him out for too long, he'll shiver for a while, and then all we have to do is put him in like a heater pad and a blanket, and he usually gets better. Nothing really sick, though.
When it gets dark outside and the temperatures decrease, obviously dogs are going to get colder a lot quicker. So how long they're left outside really depends on what kind of dog they are.
Shorter haired dogs, older dogs, and puppies can't withstand as much cold as healthy, young, very well-coated dogs. So it really kind of depends on the breed.
No one enjoys seeing their pet sad or in pain, so keeping a closer watch on where and what they do during the winter is very important when they're let outside. For the Omaha News, I'm Justin Kilker.
For more information on how to keep your pets healthy throughout the winter, log on to the Nebraska Humane Society website at nehumanesociety.org.
Bo Pelini will coordinate LSU's defense in the Bowl Championship Series title game versus Ohio State. The newly named coach of Nebraska received permission from Athletic Director Tom Osborne on Tuesday. LSU coach Les Miles asked Pelini to coach in the title game after the shakeup in the BSC polls last week. Pelini will continue to do coaching work for the Huskers until December 17th, when the recruiting dead period begins, after which he will work for both schools until the game is over.
Up next, we'll talk to Pam Weiss, the spokesperson of the Nebraska Humane Society.
And later, we'll commemorate the events of December 7th, 1941. Stay tuned. You're watching the Omaha News.
Take a look at UNO and you'll find a school that can pretty much be everything to everyone. We have that big city feel and a sense of community that creates a close, friendly campus. Our professors and resources contribute to our great reputation in the city and the region. So whether you're just starting out, transferring, earning a degree online, or choosing a new path in life, you'll be able to find what you want.
Drugs, crime, prostitution, hunger. Visit yesomaha.org and donate to Youth Emergency Services. Help take homeless kids off the streets before something else does.
Breathtaking, electrifying, inspiring. Award-winning documentaries produced by UNO Television offer you a window on the history of Omaha and the world. Beginning with the acclaimed 2-hour documentary on the history of Omaha, If These Walls Could Speak, UNO Television has developed a reputation for producing high-quality programs that explore, educate, and enlighten. These outstanding productions can be part of your home video collection. For information about purchasing VHS or DVD copies, call 554-2516 or visit our website at unotv.unomaha.edu.
Up next, we'll talk about Pam Weiss, the spokesperson of the Nebraska Humane Society. The teleprompter's wrong. If you're planning to give your child a pet for Christmas, there are a lot of things to think about first. Pam Weiss joins us from the Nebraska Humane Society to talk about that and some other pet problems. Thanks for joining us today, Pam.
You bet, Heidi. It's my pleasure.
And who's this with you today?
Well, this is Sadie, and Sadie is actually up for adoption at the shelter. She's a 1.5-year-old miniature pinscher, and she is sporting the latest in Fido fleece because this time of year, dogs with shorter coats do get cold, and so a lot of times little guys, when they go outside, if you're going out for an extended period of time, you may want to put a little extra protection on your dog. If it's snowing out, you may even want to deal with the feet and put some boots on, depending on how delicate they are.
Okay, and a lot of the dogs that have longer coats, do you still need to worry about them?
You know, dogs that are bred for, some of the Nordic areas and some of the dogs with longer coats, sporting dogs like labs and dogs that have dual coats, you don't really need to worry about them. Our point is they need to come in at some point in time. Dogs shouldn't be out all winter long in the weather because they are domesticated. And if you think about it, they live with their coats in the summertime. So in the wintertime, even though they get a warmer coat, it's still going to not protect them from the elements fully for the entire time that they're outside, if they're out continuously 24 hours. So if you're leaving your dog outside, which we don't recommend, but if you do, he needs to have an enclosed place that he can get warm in, so like a dog house that he can walk into, turn around once, and lie down in. Okay. That'll hold his body heat in. Dogs also in the wintertime need a lot of fresh water because that helps them process their food to burn it to stay warm. So a lot of times you think they need water in the summertime more than the winter. They don't. They need plenty of good food, fresh water, and good shelter away from the wind in order to stay warm and comfortable in the elements.
Okay, are there things that are heated, like heaters that you can put for the dogs, or is that unsafe?
There are kennels that you can get with heaters in them. Sometimes I know some people even who put just a light bulb in their kennel. It was high up enough that it didn't touch the dog, and just that much heat helped to heat that little space for the dog and kept the dog warm. But again, we like to make sure that they come in at night especially, and that they're not left out in the elements all the time because they are domesticated and they do need us, and they like the socialization as well.
Okay. And with the cold, I know that a lot of dogs that have problems already, if they have like hip dysplasia or bone problems, do you need to take special care of them with the cold weather?
Absolutely. Just like us, as we get older, we get aches and pains, and so do dogs. And if they have problems with arthritis or joints, that's going to be exacerbated in the cold weather. So if you've got an older dog, they might not want to be going out as much, and that's okay. They can stay inside. You can work with them inside. You can play games on the floor. You can give them different toys to keep them occupied, and to try to keep them exercised and comfortable indoors as opposed to going outside and having some more joint pain and problems.
Okay, and since it is around Christmas season, do you see a lot of dogs getting adopted around this time of year?
We absolutely do, and if families want to adopt pets for their children, we're fine with that. If you want to adopt a pet for somebody else, we ask that you bring that person to the shelter so they can pick out their own animal, bond with that animal, because just because you think it's darling doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to fit into their lifestyle or that that's the type of pet that they want. So we don't adopt out pets as gifts for people to give to other people unless it's a parent and they're going to be the primary caretaker getting it for their children.
Okay, well, thank you so much for joining us today. You're watching the Omaha News on the Knowledge Network.
If your days get out of control, reset your attitude by setting your radio to KVNO, Classical 90.7. Discover your own personal oasis of serenity on KVNO, Classical 90.7.
What do you think arthritis looks like?
I got diagnosed with it when I was 4 years old. I usually have to use my cane to get out of bed, and I can't rip the toilet paper or get in the car. I don't cry like I used to. I need my mom and my dad to help me get dressed. I'm hoping that they will find a cure.
These are the faces of arthritis. Learn more online or call the Arthritis Foundation Nebraska chapter at 330-6130. Arthritis, it's not what you think.
Watching a typical newscast, you can see that most stories are little more than headlines. But we think it's important to learn the details of one issue at a time. That's why we urge you to consider this. I'm Andrea McMaster. Join me each week from the UNO campus on a program that focuses on the issues that really matter to Nebraskans. Watch Consider This each Monday night at 5:30 on the Knowledge Network.
UNO Television.
Students work with professionals who have all kinds of experience in the industry.
Lights, camera, action. Literally.
Get paid while you learn more about the TV business.
Work on all kinds of productions.
My friends who worked on TV crew last semester are now working part-time at local stations.
Working on TV crew is a great experience.
UNO Television. Student crew, professional staff, award-winning results.
We wanted to update our lead story. Omaha police report 9 people are dead in the shooting at Westroads Mall this afternoon. At a late afternoon news conference, police said they received a call about 1:40 about a shoot in progress at the Von Maur store in Westroads Mall. The 9 dead, including the shooter who shot himself. All of them were killed at the Von Maur store. 7 were found dead at the scene and 2 died at the hospital. 5 people were taken to Creighton University Medical Center and the University of Nebraska Medical Center. Most of the victims were found on the 2nd and 3rd floors of the store.
It's been almost 66 years, and it's still an event that remains engraved in our nation's memory, uniting a nation and bringing patriotism to its peak. One couple remembers the feelings of American spirits they harbored during a fight to protect freedom.
It seemed to be a very pleasant day.
We didn't even think that something like that possible then.
It was as if my parents really didn't want me to know about it or want us kids to know about it.
President Roosevelt said, we are at war.
Yesterday, December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy.
Did not expect the shock of the Pearl Harbor.
A shattered Sabbath, yeah, it was on a Sunday.
Bombers hit on Hickam Field.
They not only came in once, they came in on a second wave.
3 times.
I was really too young to realize what was all going to happen.
Took all the men in the service.
Women went into the plants to build airplanes. We had Rosie the Riveter who said, we can do it.
The United States kind of buckled down and really went into rationing and doing everything for the war effort. The bombing of Pearl Harbor, the Japanese thought that that's how they were going to annihilate the United States. Bombing of Hiroshima was just America going to put Japan out of commission.
We sacrificed, even on the home front, to win the war. We all pulled together to accomplish the freedom that we have today.
Friday is National Pearl Harbor Remembrance Day, and everyone's encouraged to fly their flags at half-staff. Now, Harris Casino and Hotel will hold an event to pay tribute to the servicemen and women on Friday. This event, which is free and open to the public, will be held in the lobby at 11 a.m. The ceremony will include the placement of a commemorative wreath at the holiday tree. That's it for this semester of the Omaha News.
The Omaha News returns with our Super Tuesday election special on February 5th at 8 p.m. We'll cover your favorite candidates and the primary results live.
For all of us here at the Omaha News, thanks for watching.